Alright, high key, this is just gonna be me yapping for like 15 minutes into a Google Sheet. So TLDR, or if you are a Pace Chaser player, you're looking for Ramonu, El Condor Pasa, McQueen Wit, Orfevre, Nishino Flower, Still in Love, Air Shakur, and then like Almond, and then Tammo, and then just the scenario text, and then like Teo Speed, 5 motion power, and then like Forever Young. Everything else is optional. Everything else in my carat plan is specifically tailored to my account. If you are a new player and you are looking for pull advice, you should go somewhere else. This is not for a new player. This assumes that you have like an MLB Kita-san at least, and like I hope you pulled on Tachyon and Light Hello, because it assumes you know what a scenario text is. This is for Pace Chaser players who want like a reference or something to talk about your pull plan. So there are gonna be some questionable decisions made here. For example, if you are a Pace Chaser player, strictly speaking, you should allocate 0 pulls to Aston Machan. But Machan is very cute, so I will be pulling her. There are some Oshi pulls here. Like, I also don't recommend Great Food Festival Rice Shower, but I'm pulling her because she's Rice Shower. My account is geared to making Rice Shower work in every CM and LOH that I can. That's my goal. And my pull plan is designed with that goal in mind. So you should know what your objective is when pulling and when making a pull plan. So really in my pull plan is just every scenario tags banner. And then there's like 3 cards that are contentious. These cards are Chaos Miracle, Ancestors and Guides, and Sounds of Earth. So really, I'm just making this because I want to defend my pull plan of Chaos Miracle, Ancestors, and Sounds of Earth. So now, how am I going to evaluate a card to pull? I'm going to do it by looking for it and seeing how they're used in the future CMs. And I have every CM deck planned out until like 41, which is the end of Design Your Island. So if we look at Chaos Miracle's longevity, Chaos Miracle releases at around CM22, and this is a 1600 meter mile. Neck and Neck is valid and is an effective acceleration, especially after its buff. Now, if we go straight into Grandmasters, we will see, oh, Chaos Miracle is used again. It's a 2000 meter medium. After the buff, Neck and Neck is still a somewhat valid acceleration skill, and we are probably going to need it because it's a 2000 meter medium, and Christmas Ogre is going to be running around everywhere. After that, it's usable again in not really LH1, but it is pretty usable in the 1600 meter mile, CM25, and in LH2, the 1200 meter sprint. Neck and Neck is a valid acceleration skill in all of these, and we get to use Chaos Miracle all the way up until LH4 in the Lark scenario. You can see the Lark scenario, Satakeme and Alcondor Pasa is here. We can see that, and it's used, and it's only really phased out in UAF, which is Orfevre Guts. So Orfevre Guts kind of replaces-ish Chaos Miracle, kinda. But if we go and look at Chaos Miracle stats and compare to Haru Urara, we see that Urara has 1 skill point bonus, but Chaos Miracle notably gets like 1 guts bonus at 1 limit break, and then you basically just don't need the max limit break at all. Her hint level is the same, her raise bonus is the same, her initial friendship gauge goes up by a negligible amount, and you get 30 power. 30 power is nothing. That's like half a speed click. 30 power is genuinely like nothing at all. And then you lose like 4 friendship bonus. It's not nothing, but it's not a lot either. Her limit break gains are very low. So to that regard, I very much highly value a 1 limit break copy of Chaos Miracle, and that's why I'm going to drop 200 pulls on Chaos Miracle. As you can see here, after Chaos Miracle is Ramonu Wit. I should clarify, I have 0 pulls allocated to Blaze Naruto Brian and White Kita-san New Year, because Kita-san New Year is largely relegated to a parent. I don't have really much intention of running her as an ace, even if she is very strong. And Blaze Brian is just there because I know some people are going to be pulling her for the meta, and that's completely fine. Now, the next contentious decision to make here is pulling on Ancestors. Now, I've only got 200 pulls allocated, and Ancestors is a card that really wants 3 limit break, because at minimum, because of the Wit Friendship Recovery, and also 5 TE. Like, 0 to 10 TE is very noticeable, and the friendship bonus is noticeable because you get a lot of friendship training with Ancestors. But The most important, like the wit friendship is very comfy, it's very good for career, and the TE is important. So you want 3 limit breaks on progenitors and guides. I am willing to burn crystals on it. And the reason why I'm grabbing ancestors is because, well, there's a similar reason to why I'm getting Chaos Miracle, which is that I very much value having the borrow slot. Now, there is a rebuttal here, which is that you can make serviceable decks without ancestors in your main deck and by borrowing ancestors. So, if we look at the Grandmaster scenario, right, after the first CM, if you have Super Creek, you just use Super Creek, and then you don't need to use ancestors to fill the borrow slot to get McQueen stamina. Now, or if we look at, say, LOH1, the meta deck would be, Kide-san, Takion, Ramonu, KS, Ancestors, Bourbon, or like Esmaru. But if you don't have Ancestors, you can just replace it with Fine Motion and borrow Ancestors, and you just don't use Bourbon Wit, which is completely serviceable, but it's not the peak performance. Now, again, if you are running like a meta Umo, if you're running Christmas Augury, Original Augury, like Narita Blind Blaze, if you're using any of these strong Umas, you're probably going to be fine. You'll still make Group A finals easily by borrowing Ancestors and just using Fine Motion instead of Bourbon Wit. Now, the issue is that I am a trainer who wants to use a weak Uma Rice in every CM and every LOH. Including Dirts if I can, but I've been struggling with that one recently. That's not important. The point is that my priority is that I want the peak performance. My pull plan is made to give advantages to a weak Uma. And that's why I'm willing to burn pulls, carrots on Ancestors to free up my borrow slot so that I can run a overall more powerful deck. Now, if we look at Grandmasters, we can see that, our borrow slot is used for McQueen Stamina, Bourbon Wit, or Gold City Guts. But you can, in every single case, you can replace this with, like, every instance of KS in a deck could very comfortably be replaced with Haru Urara Guts. I don't think that's a problem at all. You're missing out on one gold skill, but again, if you are using a super meta Uma, you don't need neck and neck. You can just use whatever the hell you want and still be largely fine. Again, if you don't have Ancestors, if you don't pull Ancestors, and you choose to borrow it, you can just use Fine Motion, and that's completely fine. You will still make A finals fairly easily. It's just that, for my scenario specifically, I want as much power as I can get in my support cards as possible. Now, afterwards, Measure of McQueen Wit. I think this is a very non-negotiable pull, but in case anyone was on the fence, we will see that McQueen Wit debuts in the large scenario somewhere around here, LH4, and she gets used in decks all the way up till like DYI, like Twinkle Legends. So she gets like 5 scenarios of use. That's such a very longevity. She's a card of a lot of longevity. You see McQueen Wit used in every deck. It's an auto include basically. So do get your McQueen Wit, put 400 pulls in it, and after McQueen Wit we have this banner, Sounds of Earth. Sounds of Earth is also a very contentious banner. Now the common argument being made for Sounds of Earth is that, number one, Sounds of Earth is only a marginal upgrade over Creek, and I think this is true if you look only at the stats. So if you see Creek has more friendship bonus, but Sounds of Earth has 40 mood effect, the training effectiveness is the exact same, although it's based on the unique effect, and like the specialty priority is slightly higher, and that like Creek has 35 initial stamina, which is like kind of nothing. Actually, 35 stamina is a lot. But regardless, the point is that Sounds of Earth and Creek at their maximum performance has a roughly similar stamina output, which is true if you look purely at the numbers, but a lot of people say that Sounds isn't a very huge upgrade over Creek, and I don't agree with this sentiment. If you look at their skill hints, it will be clear. Now, Sounds of Earth has Nimble Navigator, Slipstream, Playtime's Over, and 2 skills that Global doesn't have yet. But these are very strong skills. This is a very strong skill hint, and also her event gives both a choice for Bofa or Beeline Burst, which means in a medium CM, you can choose to take Beeline Burst instead of Breath of Fresh Air if you don't need the stamina recovery and you just need the stamina stat. Now, on the other hand, Creek has like no hints. She has no hint level or hint frequency, and her skill hints, if games are low, is like Ramp Up, and this is like the only good skill in her hint pool. And that's like it. And like Hesitant Pace, which is useful sometimes, I guess. But by comparison, Sounds of Earth has flexibility. Creek doesn't really have the option of taking Beeline Burst. I value Beeline Burst a lot. Again, because for my situation specifically, yours may differ. If your Uma has an innate recovery in their kit, you should consider Sounds of Earth very seriously, because you can get access to Beeline Burst where you may not require a Breath of Fresh Air. So, for example, again, if we look at our PvP recommendations, if you look at the future PvP, there is a Tokyo 3200 CM somewhere here. There's a Tokyo 3200 CM long. Rise already has 2 innate recoveries, or Derby. Rise in Derby already has 2 innate recoveries, one from her ult, and the other is from Common Collector, which she has in her kit by baked in. So, Sounds of Earth doesn't actually need to give her both up. If I was running Creek in CM31 Derby, I would have no choice but to play a 3 gold recovery deck, or to play a 3 gold recovery Uma, which would be her ult, Maestro, and Breath of Fresh Air. Now, on the other hand, if I used OG Rise, I would only have cooldown, which isn't valid on Derby. So it's just a lost cause, honestly. OG Rise is just unplayable on 90% of tracks, but that's not important. What is important is that Sounds of Earth, as opposed to Super Creek, would give me the option to use a Beeline Burst instead of Swinging Maestro, or Breath of Fresh Air, and therefore I would get a gold velocity skill from a stamina card. Now, there are other cards that give gold velocity skills, like the Dansu Flame one, but again, Dansu Flame is used for exactly 1 CM as a borrow, and like that's like very far away as well, and it's really not worth pulling. So, Sounds of Earth is genuinely, in my opinion, a very significant upgrade over Creek. Now, another argument is that I hear is that Sounds of Earth doesn't get used because in the Great Food Festival scenario, all of the CMs are Sprint and Mile. And you don't actually need Sounds of Earth for any of these CMs. But this also isn't that true. Now, Sounds of Earth debuts in CM28, which is the Aremakinen, 2500 meters. Now, after that, Sounds of Earth gets used in 1, 2, 3, 4 decks, which are CM28, LH5, LH6, and CM31, which is Derby, Aremakinen, I don't know what the hell this one is, and then the Kyoto 3200, Tenasho Spring. And here we have 4 uses of Sounds of Earth, and this may look, and then after that she's just never used for all of Great Food Festival, because there are no medium or long CMs. And by that point we're just using using this deck, which is pretty generic, and everyone should have it. By the way, everyone should pull on speed, on Still in Love Speed. Still in Love Speed is absolutely bonkers. Like, look at Still in Love Speed, right? Still in Love has 2 SP bonus, 2 speed bonus, 1 power bonus, and look at her skills. Holy shit. No, please get Still in Love Speed. She is busted. Again, that's besides the point. Sounds of Earth sees a lot of longevity because she is used in Mecha and Twinkle Legends in 2 stamina decks. You see here that CM37, Tenasho Spring, we have Air Shocker and Sounds of Earth together. And we will see in CM35 Mecha that, people say, oh, Shocker completely outclasses Sounds of Earth. This is true, but Sounds of Earth would still be the second best stamina card in our arsenal. Sounds of Earth is still very much used in Hashire Mecha Umamusume. If you look at both the Japanese and Korean decks that they use in Mecha for the Aremakinen CM, or even for the Tenasho Spring CM, here Sounds of Earth will make a comeback, and it is not unreasonable to pull Sounds of Earth for these CMs, especially if you care about them. I very much care about the 3200 meters Kyoto CM because it's where my Rice Shower gets to shine, and I care a lot about it. So I do want to have a good performance in the Tenasho Spring CM, so I am interested in getting the good cards for it, which would include Sounds of Earth. Now, again, the same argument can be made for Sounds of Earth as can be made for Ancestors, which is that if you don't want the tip-top performance, or if you are using the Meta Umas that have more baked into that's my Discord things. If you are using more Meta Umas that have more stuff baked into their kit by default, you don't really need Sounds of Earth. You can get away with a lower performing deck. I, on the other hand, am not, using a weak Uma all the time. Like, Rice Shower Great Food Festival is not what we would call the pinnacle of meta. she's used on like one track, and even then she's not the best option. So it's very much, you know, it's very much not a thing that you should consider. I do seriously give a lot of priority to Sounds of Earth. Obviously, if you have a lot of Oshis you want to pull, and let's say you go to 200 on Narita Brian Blaze, and for demonstration's sake, let's say you go to 200 on Narita Brian Blaze, oh no, I'm completely broke, I can't afford Ancestors, I can't afford McQueen Wit, I can't afford Sounds of Earth. You should drop your Ancestors, you should drop Sounds of Earth, you should drop, and you should all in on McQueen Wit in such a scenario, right? But let's say you don't want to pull Narita Brian Blaze, which is true for me, I'm not that interested in her, then you should, you know, seriously consider putting some pulls into Ancestors and Sounds of Earth for the Boros slot. Now, the rest of the pull plan is really just scenario taxes, because anything above that is purely whale territory, and if you are a whale, you should pretty much already know what you want. Simbali Rudolph and Megiddo Ardan. This is another premium card that premium banner that we should consider very seriously if we are Pace Chaser players, because Rudolph Wit is generic. We can use McQueen Wit even after Rudolph comes out. It's not really a problem. You can see design your island CM39, Rudolph Wit is here, although if you replace this with McQueen Wit, it's not really that big of a difference in performance, because Rudolph Wit gives check, and that's like about it really. Like the skills for Paces are about the same. But Ardent Power is a Pace Chaser only card, and if we get Ardent Power, it's quite a boon to our account, really. Although, again, Ardent Power is like used like once, really, over Nishino. Nishino is just a lot stronger here. It's just a very strong card. Nishino gets used for all of GFF and most of Mecha, and like you really only get to see Ardent Power like twice. But it is a very good pull, because we want both cards on the banner, and I think there's a lot of value in having both Rudolph Wit and Ardan, so I'm willing to put 400. If you have a lot of Oshis in this time period, I know a lot of people are going to be pulling for Gentildona, then you should consider maybe dropping less on it, but again, it's up to you. For me, I think it's worth putting 400 down, unless I look further into the future and realize that it's a bad pull, and then I will amend my pull plan accordingly, because we are planning, this is like 10 scenarios ahead. It really doesn't matter. Almond must pull, please pull Almond. Chronogenesis is super meta, but also she's cute, and I like her. Okay, Tucker Bind and Tamamo Cross. A lot of people, okay, not really a lot of people, but some people are saying that Tamamo Cross is pretty skippable. I am inclined to disagree, because if we look at the comparison for Nishino versus Tamamo, Tamamo has skill point bonus. That's already a huge buff over Nishino. But if you look at the skill hints, it's not really close. Like, and also Tamamo has 2 gold skills. We get both divine speed and like whatever these are. I don't know the JP skills. I'm a global player, I'm sorry. But on the other hand, Nishino has like has a choice between 2 skills, 2 golds. But Tama gives you 2 golds, and you can choose which one you want. Choose the second gold, which is just a lot of value, especially in the JP environment, or at least it will be the global environment when we get to it, which in that environment is much more valuable. And also, like, you know, stamina. Tamamo, look at Tamamo, dude, the stats are fucking crazy. Like 100 specialty priority. What the hell? Yeah, so please get Tamamo power. You can live without, let me just go put Ardent Power here just for comparison. Like, here's Ardent Power. It's 2 skill point bonus, sure, but like, okay, I guess Ardent Power can really cope, but the problem is that Tamamo Power gives Divine Speed, which is just fucking crazy, a crazy ass skill. So yeah, we do want it. Stay Gold and the Mire Groove, I think you can actually comfortably skip Stay Gold, because Stay Gold Guts gets power crap very quickly. And running Guts cards in the America and the Ramen scenario is quite hard. But so this one is like 200, but it's iffy. I think you can very reasonably skip 200 pulls on Tegel and Mire Groove. And then, you know, Teo and Kyoko, this is a must pull, especially for Pace Chasers. Pace Chasers, we will be using Teo forever. And then here is 400 pulls on Fine Motion and Air Groove. We want both of these cards. Fine Motion Power is a ridiculous card. I don't have it on the power cards table, but if we look at Fine Motion Power, we can see that this is a crazy card. Hint quantity bonus. What? the hell, man? You get 2. Okay. For those who aren't aware, Fine Motion's unique effect is that you can click on her exclamation mark and she will give you 2 hints instead of 1, and she has a crazy number of skills, and she has 100 hint frequency, 2 SP bonus. Dude, she's obscene, and you get like you get racing spirit stamina from Fine Motion. What the hell, man? Yeah, she's broken as hell. Her events gives you the goddamn GM, the goddamn Grandmasters 5 hints for the skills, for all of the crazy ass skills. Fine motion power. You need fine motion power. You need fine motion power. She is broken. All right. Air Groove is just like a card that's good on mediums. It doesn't really matter. And then after that, Ebayan, because you need Forever Young. She's the best wit card. It's not close. And then my final pull, which is where my my planning ends, is up to Almond Eye's release in the JP server. Because, I mean, Almond Eye is cute. And at this point, I'm in the red, but it's because my carats haven't updated and it says the max pulse is 198, which is close enough anyway. This is a very worst case scenario pull. For example, I have here Champions Meeting that I'm going to be 3rd in all of them, which is unlikely given that, you know, I can probably win some of them. And League of Heroes Platinum 4 is allegedly very achievable if you aren't like brain dead, and Platinum 1 is like whatever. I'm also completely free to play. I don't use any of these, and it's like, yeah, there's crystals that I haven't accounted for, there's pull tickets that I haven't accounted for. I really don't think I will be going to 200 on both Machan and Rob Roy, but again, if it does happen, I'm prepared for it, so it's whatever. Alright, so that's really it. So if you're a whale, you can there's a few more stuff you can consider. There is like Halloween Maya, who is somewhere at the bottom. Halloween Mayano, crazy, yeah. Marveline, Halloween Mayano, who is busted and apparently really good for front. And again, this is for pace only. If you are a late surger or front runner or end closer, make your own pull plan, because I have no idea what the fuck you guys want from your cards. Yeah, I'm just making this video because I want to defend my KS Miracle and Sounds of Earth pull. That's really it. Everything else is just scenario text or good banners that's very, you know, unoptimized. Like, and the pull plan is obviously subject to a lot of change depending on whether I pull certain things early or late, but the core tenets of it, the biggest things are set in stone. So to recap, things you want to pull if you aren't me: Mejiro Ramonu Wit, El Condor Pasa Speed, McQueen Wit, and then you skip Sounds of Earth, or Fevre, and then Nishino Flower, and then Still in Love, Air Shakur, and then like maybe Rudolph, and then Elmanai, and then Tamamo, Stay Gold, maybe, Teo, Find More Air Groove, you must pull Find More Air Groove, this card is fucking busted, and then like Forever Young. And like this is there's like meta aces as well, but really the only one that I have here is like Blaze Brian and then like Chrono Genesis. I don't have Gentildonna in here, but I know a lot of people are going to be pulling Gentildonna. Yeah, just pull Gentildonna. She hasn't no stopping me. She's very strong. Alright, that's the end of it. I'm probably going to upload this shit raw. Fuck editing, am I right? Yeah.